Yo, listen, I'm gonna say this, and I'm gonna say it very short. Today we're gonna be going over the book 9, right? And we got two of the greatest to ever do it. The writers, the originators, Writing Fit, and Jose Sama. Did I say that right?
Yeah, you said it right. But listen, we don't say Jose though. It's Joe.
Next time, put Joe in the fucking in the chat,
You know
so I know to say Joe.
Yeah, you're right.
But I forgot we do live in America. Speak English, or get the fuck out. Yo, not one of us is fucking white.
No.
But
No.
Yo, so we're gonna go over this book, right? You want to start with you want to read your prologue off, man? Let's get us hyped. Get us hyped for this. Read your prologue to the book. Give it a nice little voice, and we'll start after that.
Oh damn! I have to actually look at it.
Yeah,
it's been forever, bro.
Pull that bad motherfucker up.
Ramon, do you still have a hard copy?
Yeah, I have it right here. I sent him a copy.
I have a couple. I have like 2 hard copies.
Yeah, I got 1 hard copy, baby.
I'm like, man, I don't even remember what the fuck I was doing. All right, man, I haven't read any of this in a minute.
No. So like we're getting voice acting classes through Fiverr. Yo, a nice fucking illustrative voice. I want to feel it. I want to get in the zone, and I want to talk about this fucking book.
Well, I mean, we can start with how it started and then go from there.
I mean,
so how did it? So Ramon, how did it start?
Yeah, you don't want to do the prologue?
I'm looking, man. Relax.
Yeah. No. We'll get to the prologue. That's a good idea. Let's talk about how did this start? How the fuck did we do that?
Yeah. So to begin with, I was working at the casino in South Florida, and I got put into a very cold room, and somehow I acquired paper, some sheets of paper. I was in there for 8 hours, and it was freezing. So I was like, I'm going to write. I don't know why. But I decided to write, and I wrote, I don't even know. It might've been like a page and a half completely from top to bottom. It was just like white computer paper, but I wrote like a random scene, like a fight scene involving like people that we worked with and stuff. And I left it in our control room, which is basically like, it's exactly what it sounds like. It's the security control room. So I left it in there expecting that it was going to be thrown out at the end of the shift on top of my handwriting being horrible. And that was on my Friday, and I ended up coming back a couple days later, and people were asking what that was and where the rest of it was. And that kind of confused me because I was like, oh shit, it's still here. And yeah, so I wrote a couple more pages, and then I don't know how you got a hold of it, Joe. I think everyone was just reading it.
Yeah, I'm not sure either. I think for however it happened, it landed on my desk, and I enjoyed the shit out of that ironically weird, cool setup, like crazy world that you started. Because all right, so the thing about it was all the characters were based off of people we worked with, but there was an ironic twist with everybody. It was kind of like the opposite of what they actually really were at work. So, like remember Ralph? Remember old man Ralph?
Oh man, yeah. Oh man.
He had superpowers. He was able to run really fast and shit. Like,
yeah, that would be
a
this guy's like 120.
Yeah, he was super old, dude. Security officer. And he had like this skin that would hang right here, and you would just stare at it. You would just stare at it the whole time, every time you talk to Ralph. But I thought that was pretty funny.
No. So yeah, what's Ralph's powers in it? So you give him super speed, you give him like elastic skin or something like that? Or...
Hey, you know what? That would have been a cool one.
It would have been messed up too.
Wait, so let me put this together, right? This sounds like a fucking movie. Just the start of this shit. The way that you guys got this book done is you go into a cold fucking dungeness room
Yeah.
with icicles hanging from the rafters, and out of nowhere, 3 pages flutter in the fucking wind and fall to you. You begin to write for 8 hours straight.
Basically.
So you're a professional writer because you got paid to write.
Well,
got him.
Oh shit.
Yeah, it took my brain a second, but I was like, oh wait, you're right.
Like I'm a professional shitter, like 30 minutes every other day.
For sure.
And I'll be honest, it's some of the best shits I ever have when I know I'm making every dollar for every dropple that falls in that toilet. Yo, so you're there, man. You get this fucking, you're having a blast with it. You're reading it. You're like, this dude is funny. He's got fucking good writing. It's entertaining. Like, what are you interested in at this time before you read his stuff?
So, all right. So growing up as a kid, a lot of people, they're into creating their own characters. I don't know if it's a lot of people, but I know I was. I was into creating my own characters. I was an artist, growing up my whole life. The arts just grabbed me. I was always into that. I was always into that shit.
So you got a bar you could spit right now?
Whoa, wait a minute. No, I don't.
Put a little booty in it. Oh, shit.
Hey, that was good. That was good. So it was just something that I was always interested in and fantasized about, right? Everybody fantasizes about their own world outside of reality. So when I saw this, when I saw what Ramon had written, I was like, oh shit, like we kind of share that same fantasy, the love of fantasy and kind of drifting away and creating different worlds and stories and all that shit. I mean, who didn't like Dragon Ball Z growing up? Who didn't like X-Men? Who didn't like all that shit?
A bitch.
Yeah, well,
a bitch who can die in a hole. That's who didn't like it.
Well, shit. Thank you.
I agree.
Yes, I agree too.
Yeah.
I fucking agree. So I don't know. So I saw that and I was like, okay, well, that's a joke, but maybe not. Maybe it's not a joke. Maybe this is something we can actually run with, because immediately as I'm reading that shit, I'm like, I'm adding to it. I'm doing, I'm adding to this character and I'm adding to the world building. And I'm a buff. I'm a lore buff. I love things that expand out into, a very vast lore universe. Things like Star Wars, things like
which is fucking phenomenal. Like, I don't care how shitty somebody writes Star Wars, there's still something good about it.
Thank you. That what, you're absolutely right. There's the Star Wars, and we're gonna go off in tangent right now because the Star Wars community is fucking divided like a motherfucker, right? But it's just like you said, there's always something really great in Star Wars that you can pick out of whatever it is, whether if it's a fucking movie that a lot of people hated, there's a lot of people that fucking loved it, and there's something in there that spoke to them. You know what I mean? So, I'm a huge fucking Halo fan, right?
Can you give me the hum?
No, but I don't think there's enough echo in this.
Just do it. Just do it.
I don't think. All right. I can't do it, bro.
Nah, yo, it was on the spot. I apologize. I wanted to hear it.
No, yeah, it was. Cause now I started thinking about, damn, do I start off with the high part? It has to be the high part. And then I lost it. All
right, yo. So you're writing the lore and shit. When you guys meet up? Like, when's the first time you guys engage? You're secret sleuthing this shit right now. You're like, oh,
no, like right away, because we worked in the same shift, same department.
Okay.
So like we interacted with each other quite often. So it was like, right, what was it, Ramon? Like the next day?
Yeah, it was probably the next day. It's kind of funny. So like, if I don't know you, like I'm fairly quiet. Like I won't talk to you. Once I get to know people, obviously, then I start talking. But for the most part, like I just sort of stay away if I don't know you. So Joe was my supervisor at the time, and I think I got put in blackjack. And at this time, I didn't really talk to anyone. It was still a new job for the most part. And he like came over and like stood next to me, like kind of awkwardly. And I was like, oh fuck. Like what's going on now? And he's like, hey. And I was like, what's up? And he's like, you know that thing you're writing? And I was like, oh, thank God. I was like, yeah. And then he just started yeah, like he said, he's like a lore buff. So he just started like, oh, like, have you thought about, adding this or doing that and going from here? And at this time, like I said, this was really the first time I had ever continued writing anything. So it was a lot, but it was kind of like everyone wanted to read it. So I was like, okay. And basically I was feeding off his energy. And it basically stayed that way all the way through. Like I was like in our group chats, like I said, like I'm the blender, right? So like everyone gives me everything and then I can regurgitate that, right? And just sort of make that part flow. But yeah, so he approached me and started spitting some ideas. And then from there, what's interesting is that part of the story that we wrote doesn't even take place forever. So I ended up writing well into the future of the storyline. And then once we decided to be serious with it, we ended up backtracking and giving it a beginning.
All right. So when you guys, just an observation, but you got a Dragon Ball shirt on, fucking cold-blooded as fucking a Star Wars shirt, right? Yo, fucking two of the most legendary series of all time. What the fuck did any of that like play into your guys' writing, or was this just you guys bouncing off of each other? Like everybody takes something away from a story, right? Are you just repping it because it's dope? It's dope shit that you enjoy, or did it play any part in writing this story?
I don't think, especially like he was saying, always being interested in sort of that fantasy world and cartoons and escaping this one. I don't think anyone who has ever read fantasy, watched fantasy, I don't think you really have that option of not taking something from it. Because that's how inspiration works, right? So as far as the action, right, just wanting to do that but with my own ideas, yeah, of course. I mean, yeah, like I said, I don't think it's possible for you to not do that, even if you're doing it subconsciously. You know what I mean? Like, I'm sure if I look back on some of these chapters, I'm sure there's a lot of stuff that is very reminiscent of other things that we've seen or watched.
Yeah, I don't think I wouldn't say something in specific was taken from either Star Wars or Dragon Ball, the Dragon Ball franchise. I would say that the fantasy of it was especially maybe more so from Dragon Ball, but certainly, Star Wars is a very universal. Like this is something that's broad throughout galaxies, and it's a whole different beast from what Dragon Ball is too. But you can very much have a Dragon Ball story that's just on Earth, and there's a whole lot going, kind of like the beginning of Dragon Ball, right? Dragon Ball was all, a lot of it was on Earth. And
Star Wars, you could literally do the same thing. Like Star Wars, you could just do it about a farmer on Tatooine.
Absolutely, yes.
And you'd be like,
you're right.
Fuck, this nigga is getting harassed every day, bro, and he's growing dirt shrooms.
This is true, but the problem with the farmer on Tatooine is that a Star Wars fan is always going to look for that outside, like, what's happening throughout the rest of the galaxy. Whereas in Dragon Ball, you could literally take that farmer with the shotgun in that scene where, and you can expand from there and say, oh, this is, his running with Saiyans and, whatever.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Well,
bullshit.
their initial training thing was fucking farming with their bare hands.
Yeah.
And making crop rows And I don't know, I have a fucking small garden in my backyard, right? Where I just tilled the soil myself. And it took me 3 fucking hours. And I'd probably say 5 foot by 5 foot, 3 fucking hours. And I'm still not fucking done in that shit. So I don't know why I'm talking about farming. I'm getting hyped for the apocalypse and shit. But
Dude,
I was just
chill.
thinking, they're so good at writing stories that you could take that fucking just storyline, that universe, and both of them, and make them enjoyable just to watch a farmer in that universe, right?
Yeah,
Do you feel like you guys wrote a good enough story to where you could just put a fucking farmer into your story and make them appealing and interesting?
I don't see why not.
Yeah, especially if we placed him after the event, that would be very interesting because one, how's he alive? Two, just how the fuck is he out there doing anything? So,
Wait, but hold on, fuck that. What about the prologue? We could definitely take that because that shit's all.
That's true.
We could definitely do that.
I mean, technically, we do have farmers.
Yeah,
at the
yeah.
beginning of the prologue, and they get murdered.
Beginning of humanity. Yeah.
Wait, do you have the
Mike,
prologue set up to run that for us?
To look at it, yeah.
Yeah, go ahead, Joe. Say what you're gonna say.
Oh, for the record, I have a garden as well, and I know exactly what you're talking about. That especially, where are you at? I'm in South Florida.
Yeah, I'm in. I just moved to Pennsylvania. I'm at Lake Erie, baby.
Oh, okay.
I might as well be in Canada. I see them niggas across the lake.
Shit. Well, it's fucking hot as balls. You spend 1 hour in that garden, especially in the afternoon. Forget about it.
And you talk about the humidity too. Florida's got that humidity that'll fuck you up before the heat will.
Forget
like, how'd he die?
Hey, listen.
Oh, he sweat everything out. Be like, shit, he was only outside for an hour, bro. You feel like you're in a sauna suit and shit, a steam room.
And you know what? Like, having a garden is gratifying too. Like, it's, you're growing your own shit, and it, for whatever reason, it feels good to do that, right? Like the first time you get a tomato, fucking, you're like, holy shit, I grew this fucking tomato. Oh my god.
But think about like you're into creating too, right? Like you literally gardening is just creating as well, right? You're making that shit. You're fucking making it from scratch. I think everything about creation feels so much better than intaking somebody else's shit that they created. But sometimes I'm gonna admit, like, when you're working something, you can appreciate good versions of it too. So you guys are both writers, right? You got Dragon Ball Z on, you got Star Wars on. You could admit that the people that you're wearing, they fucking created something so good that you're like, fuck, dude, that shit feels good to me because I know the work that you put in. I know the time you put in. Like, it's like fucking regular farmers, man. I think they're underappreciated in America. But without fucking farmers, we'd be fucked, man.
That's right. That is absolutely right.
Yeah, we'd still be getting raided by each other and shit.
Drop that prologue, baby.
I actually only have the short version. I can actually talk about this scene because I remember it. So essentially at the beginning, the scene with the farmers that we have, it takes place like before ancient Egypt, essentially. And the angels are watching, they're watching one tribe sort of come in the middle of the night and raid another one. But they can't interact with them, right? They can only watch. And one's a woman and one's a man.
And wait, to stop you right there, like clarify the angels for us. Now, are these your own created angels, or are they angels that are like out of the Bible because it's a great resource to use?
Yeah, it's both.
Right.
Most of the lore is pulled from actual religions.
It's mythology based. All of the lore is mythology based.
So we're talking Greek, Roman. Where are we at?
Roman, Christian. Right now, it's right now with this story, it's Christian mythology. So to answer your question with these angels, they're actually Gregories, right? The fallen, the watchers, right?
Okay.
So that's what we based this. Most of the story comes from these angels, from the Gregories.
No. So that's crazy to me. And then you guys are compiling this. how do you pick the religion? How do you pick? It just felt right, or what's going on with that?
Yeah, I mean, when you think of angels and demons, the first thing that comes to mind is always going to be Catholicism and Christianity, right?
That's a predominant. Yeah, being born in America, even if it's not like, even if you don't believe in it, you're around it, and then there's some things in life that you can kind of agree with it, and you're taught it from the time you're born over here.
Yeah,
so it's easy
they
to go
won,
with.
so
Yeah. The
Yeah.
Muslims were giving it to him for a minute there, though.
yeah, but
Oh,
it
yeah,
didn't
man.
work out.
Well, the Crusades happened.
The Crusades. Yeah, there you
Yeah.
go.
I mean, you want to
That's-
say that somebody's a bad guy? I think everybody's a fucking bad guy during the Crusades.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Is there a happy story? Maybe for the dude that was farming, right?
Probably not.
And that's what this chat is really about. It's about farming. We're pretending it's about your story, but everything is going to be based around how the fuck do I get a tomato plant to grow? That's all I'm trying to get out of this podcast today. Yo, so tell me more about the prologue, man. So we were just talking about the angels. You got it from mostly Christian mythology. And there's a flex, like you were talking about blending shit. You blended a lot of angels and shit together. Let's move more into that. Like, what happened after that?
So I don't remember how the idea came up to use, like, do you know what Nephilim are?
Mm-mm.
Okay, so
Or
Nephilim.
the hell spawns, right?
No.
So Nephilim were the result of angels mating with humans. So you would normally see them referred to as like giants in stories. That was like the Nephilim that were all killed during the flood.
So is that weird that I don't want to stop you, but Nephilim, right?
Yeah.
And Nephilim in Diablo will be like a portal walking fucking elf looking demon, right?
Right.
There's Nephilims in other shows that are like a warrior race of people.
Right.
It's so weird that Nephilim is just fuck, dude. It feels like a universal term that you could turn anything into. You could make Nephilim a group of good guys, Nephilim a group of bad guys, but in your particular thing, explain that again.
So yes, they do play with them. So they play with them. So normally you will see, like, there's a couple shows where they have Nephilim where they basically have the same idea that we had, which was of them being more of like superpowered humans. But then you will see them where they're demonic, because to begin with, in the Bible, it talks about the fallen were the angels that were cast out, so they were already bad, right? And once they made it with humans, the giants weren't human, right? They weren't part of really God's creation, so those were considered demonic, right? And then the children that they bore, they also had children, so you'll see a mix of both. But our idea, like my idea and Jose's idea, were because even in the Bible it says that not all of them were killed off, right? It says that. So if there were descendants of these beings, what would they be capable of doing? And that's basically what we ran with.
Yo, Joe, I want to talk to you, man. You're doing a lot of this lore, a lot of this religious shit. How many different Bibles have you read? Like, I say Bible, right? Because we come from a Christian society, Catholic society. Have you read the Quran? Have you read the what's the Buddhist book?
Right. So I haven't read all of them, in full, but every so often I'll dive into a certain topic in each, kind of a Bible, and I'll read for inspiration. Sometimes actually, to be totally honest, more out of curiosity, and that turns into inspiration. And then I take that and then I take the kind of fantasy look at it, not the literal. Or what I do is I'll take, what would that look like if I actually saw it? Like, because when you read something in a Bible, whatever religious book you're reading it out of, it's always going to be told in a majestic way, right? It's going to be the story's going to be told very vague, very majestic. But what would that actually, like, what would it have looked like if a primitive or actually, no, not a primitive person, somebody in our knowledge. Because remember, back we're talking about thousands of years ago, where they're witnessing these events, right?
Mm.
So what would it look like if we witnessed it? Well, what if there was a science involved with what's actually going on? And what if there was a science that's kind of beyond our understanding, which is where you think of magic, right? Like, okay, well, this is magic, this is supernatural. Well, it's kind of both, you know what I mean? So what would it look like if we turned that into if we turned it into a story, or if we could kind of like describe that to the reader, like what are we actually looking at?
So a very serious question, right? And it pertains to just like the religious studies that you've done. Is Jesus black or is he white?
He's not white
Jesus is not white.
at
Okay, all right.
He's not white. I mean,
Very
I
confused.
find it.
I've seen a
find it
lot of
very
white
hard.
Jesuses, and then I kind of correlate question number 2 right behind it. Jesus isn't white, but you're not saying he's black. Right after that, is Santa Claus white or black?
Listen, Santa Claus could be white, because to live in the North Pole, I don't give a fuck if you're black. You're gonna be white.
Well,
You're
and
gonna
he
be
was
white.
based off an actual person, right? Saint
yeah.
Nicholas, who was a
Yeah.
white dude. So
Yeah,
Right.
and that makes sense. So Jesus is black, Saint Nick is white. We can squash it there. Big question for everybody. Yeah, so let's get more back into your storytelling. So your lore, based off of some of that mythology, you heard Joe give a lot of fucking great info. Yo, you guys have fucking, both of you guys are smart as fuck, right? I'm a rock, right? Most of my thoughts
I'm
is
definitely
like
not smart.
is like titties and like, fuck, dude, how do I get this boner to go away and be appropriate in a situation? And you guys are like, oh, the way the mythology works, the way this fucking character can create with that character. My characters are like, what can get the main character the horniest? The way you guys write is so different from me, but it impresses me. So let's move on to each of your favorite characters that you helped develop in the story. And I just want to hear a little bit about the main characters if we were to get somebody to read.
Man, that's a good question.
That is a very good question, because it's a lot of this is still developed. Like we never really finished. We still have a lot to tell. We have
That's
a
what
whole
she
lot
said.
to tell.
Yeah. We pumped out that first prologue. I mean, that first short novel. And yeah, that was really like I said, the actual story that I started working on doesn't even take place for a long time after the origin story, so to speak.
So the apex was the book, and that was it, right?
Yeah, and then after that, life took over, and then
Yeah.
No, and I understand that like 100%. Like that's where I am. Like I keep making excuses for myself, but really, I'm just a weak piece of shit, right? As you guys can admit, like fucking, we got responsibilities that feel greater than what it is, right? But at the end of the day, when we look back at it, we'll be so upset if we don't finish what the fuck we started, and that's kind of why we're here. Like, motherfuckers, you need to finish this book. Tell me about your favorite characters in the book and why they're your favorite characters.
Oh man, it is tough. So there was hey Ramon, do you remember the story of the twins that I wanted to I was really, really adamant about doing a spin-off at some point? Remember the twins
Ruben and Steve's character, right?
Yeah. So what were so one of them, they were twins, and they were Nephilim twins, and they kind of had opposite powers, right? One controlled like the earth, the other one controlled water, right?
There's a Sasquatch and a Yeti.
It's Sasquatch and a Yeti, exactly.
Wait. A Sasquatch and a Yeti as twins. We're doing the work.
Yeah, because all right, so if you think of the tails of the Sasquatch, or Bigfoot, and then the tails of the Yeti or the abominable snowman, they're kind of fucking identical, except one's in snow and the other one's in fucking, I mean, not the tail itself is identical, but the description of these beasts are almost identical, except one is in the fucking forest of North America and the other one's in fucking Tibet. You know what I mean?
No, I just want to stop right there. I've never So they had a movie come out with the Abominable Snowmans. It was like an animated film. That shit was a pretty kick-ass film. The best film I think on Sasquatch is either the Slim Jim commercials or a Goofy movie, right? But like the way you're talking about those fucking two characters being twins, being in different fucking regions, like that could be an epic fucking story alone.
Yeah.
No lie. I'm thinking about it right now. The possibilities of that shit, like that's up there with Dragon Ball Z and Star Wars.
These are side characters. These are
they are side characters, but they're side characters. But for whatever reason, I felt like there needed to be more of a story with them because they are part of a faction that's kind of led by Gaia, right? The Earth spirit. Gaia.
Wait, Gaia, the one with the green Medusa-like hair. She's sexy as fuck.
Yeah, pretty much.
One Punch Man, you would say that she is
extra thick. Always, she's always portrayed as extra.
Huge tits, nice lips.
Yeah. So the Nephilims are actually there's different types of Nephilims in our story, right? Because the Nephilims are the offsprings of the Gregories, the angels. But that's the offsprings of the Gregories who also mated with humans. That's where you get the Nephilims. So in our story, there's different kind of Nephilims. There's some that are alchemists. There's some that are beast Nephilims, right? And this is where our twins come in. So they run two separate, right? They're on two separate sides of the world, right? One's in the east, the other one's in the west. So, they kind of look over things in their respective areas, and they still happen to be twins that, so I just thought that story would have been, there's a lot to be told in that story.
Yeah, and they weren't.
Before I get to you real quick, or say what the fuck you want to say, bro. I gotta hear it real quick before I open my mouth.
So the other thing with these characters, so one, to explain why there's two different types of Nephilim. Basically, when the creator, that's the leader of the Christian Catholicism type of religion that we're using, when he came to Earth, because he wasn't originally from here, he basically had to make a deal or a relationship with Gaia to create here. So she was already here and she had animals and such like that. He brought his angels. So you got a mix of the two, right? So you have a guy who controls energy essentially, down to the very atoms. And then you have Gaia who creates life and animals and, things that breathe and walk about. So they meshed and they basically combined their powers to create humans. But you also have these Nephilim, right, who are the descendants of the angels and humans. So they either have either or power. What they can either manipulate energy on an atomic level, which is alchemy, or they can transform into a sort of beast, a humanoid beast type creature, which is, Sasquatch, right? It's like a big monkey human type thing.
They also control the elements, their respective elements as well.
Right.
No, you made me think of Full Metal Alchemist, right? My Hero Academia. Fuck, dude, a tournament arc with Sasquatch and fucking the frozen goddamn gauntlet Sasquatch would be cold as fuck. Dude, like, brother animes are some of my favorite animes and some of my favorite hero/villain combos. Like, whenever you take two brothers, and it may be because I grew up with a brother and shit, and you make them polar opposites and either work together or be fucking mortal enemies, like, because family is like the closest thing you have usually, right? Yep. And you could do so many things with a fucking Sasquatch. And what's the other thing called?
The Yeti.
Yeah, bro. I don't know. There are two Sasquatches, a white one and a black one, bro.
Yeah.
And you got the white and the black thing going on. It's too much. It's too fucking good, bro. Yeah. I love it. Yo, tell me about your favorite character, man. I'm getting carried away with this Sasquatch Yeti shit.
Well, that's so. I just want to step back into those characters real quick, because one more thing. So, the character for Steve, the Yeti character, when we first created him, he was part of that original storyline that takes place in the future. And I love the fight scene with him because essentially the main team they're getting their ass whooped. And as they're fighting the bad guy at the time, basically water floods in to about like knee high and it freezes around the bad guy. And everyone's like sort of freaked out. They don't know what the fuck's going on. And the doors fly open and this giant Yeti in like makeshift armor comes in like Iceman skating across the water and like lays this dude out because he freezes his legs into the water so he can't move.
Yo, you guys are hyping me the fuck up. I've literally read 30 seconds of your guys' book. I just want the fucking Yeti and Sasquatch book. I don't give a fuck what you call it. I don't know. Yo, what was Full Metal Alchemist, right? That's the name of that? Yo, come up with a name right now for the book so I can buy it. This is what we're here for. We're here to fucking come up with ideas. I'm huge on this spinoff. Until you tell me about your character right now, this shit is the dopest story I've seen in a while since Berserk.
So my favorite character is probably my version of Hercules in the story. The reason being, because he's basically insane. He's been alone for so long. And there's other reasons why he's crazy that you find out sort of throughout the book. But yeah, he there's like little things that I wrote about him. Like he doesn't trust people who wear shoes.
Yeah, that's the best. That's the best.
He's very out there, right? He's been alone for so long. But my favorite scene that we wrote, because he's one of those beast characters, and so when he actually goes to actually use his power, because even in his base form, it's Hercules, right? So even in his base form, he's basically like our Hulk, and so something happens, like a situation happens where he actually has to use his power, and basically one of the characters tells someone else like, hey, we need to get out of here like now. And they're like, why? And they're like, basically he's about to use his powers. And they're like, so? And he transforms. It's crazy. And he basically becomes like a lion, right? You know how Hercules is supposed to wear the lion? Well, he actually becomes the lion, like a humanoid lion. And one of the characters goes, that's how he beat the Hydra. He didn't fight him. He ate him.
I said, oh shit. I was muted. And I was like, God damn. So if he fought, this is just for me, okay? It has nothing to do with story for you guys.
Yeah.
Hercules, baby Hercules, what's his name?
Herc.
He fights the Yeti and the Sasquatch. Who the fuck wins? You guys discuss it out amongst each other. Who wins?
That's tough.
That would be tough. Yeah.
It would be tough because, well, they're kind of,
well,
no, I think they're all in the same age group, actually.
Yeah,
because Herc is one of the original Nephilims.
Yeah.
As well as the two twins. The two twins are, so their bloodline is not watered down. So they're fucking strong. Like these guys are gods. Like they're ridiculously strong. So that would be a tough fight though, man, because Herc is just so wild and the twins fight with such strategy, and they're strong as shit as well too.
Yeah.
But it's just Herc is just so overpoweringly strong. Like he's kind of like,
it's Hercules.
I don't know, man.
It's fucking Hercules.
It's fucking Hercules. Like it's Hercules like you've never seen him before.
Yeah, he's insane on top of that.
So what I'm doing is I'm kind of blending the Joker with like the Hulk, right? Is what I'm doing in my head. Right? But I don't know. If you give me the Sasquatch and Yeti, right? I don't know what their intelligence level is. You're right, because these are new characters to me. I'm absorbing the story now as we do it. You guys play out the fucking scene for like brand new people that are trying to get into the book. How would you guys write it for like people? This is like just unedited, off the dome, freestyle spit in your story. That fucking start it now.
So if they were to fight, Herc's not going to go in with a strategy. His mind is well past being able to like sit there and actually like concentrate on things like that. The other two they're tribal warriors, so they're going to be very not only are they OP, but they're going to be very strategic in everything they're doing too. And it depends if they're together. I don't know if they would let either one. They are honor bound, so they might let each other fight alone, but I'm not sure. Like I'd have to write those characters more to know like their bond, whether they would actually allow each other to fight alone.
I would say that they would to a certain extent. I don't think one's gonna let the other brother die.
Right.
I think
right.
if it's just an honor battle and it's a sparring or whatever it is, but if it's to the death, I think they'll let it go so far.
Mhm.
But then just before death, it'll that's not gonna fly.
Right.
Yeah, this shit is gassing me up, bro. I'm hyped as fuck. I want that story, right? I don't know anything about the characters, but if you just wrote a short story with just like a comic book, right? You just do fucking Herc versus the two brothers. I don't know what the fuck you guys call it. And then you fucking set up the scenario. You lay it out. Fucking Herc's in a frozen tundra, mining for shit because he's crazy as fuck. And then he punches a hole in the wall and kills fucking a whole village because he's a fucking crazy fuck.
Well, yeah. I'm so the two brothers. Their actual human names are Ruben and Steve.
What the fuck?
Yeah.
I was not expecting that shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ruben is a great sandwich, though. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I would hope Steve lives in the ice because that's fucking. I don't want to eat Steve, but I would eat Ruben.
Well, actually, they're located in our. So the first book is called Sons of Sitnalta. So that's our Atlantis. So they're actually in that storyline in the beginning. They're sort of still there guarding things because it hasn't been. It's not
hasn't gone to shit yet.
Yeah, exactly.
It hasn't gone to shit yet.
You fuck, dude. There's so much to this. Like, so we're
you
just
don't even know.
We're
man.
unraveling ideas upon ideas upon ideas. The limited scope. We just touched on 2 characters, right?
Mhm.
3. I'm combining the twins as 2 or 1, and then I'm combining Herc as another one.
Mhm.
And it's just fucking fascinating where you can go with these characters. Oh, just on their own basis. Like, are you guys hyped to write some more shit, or where are you guys at? Are you going to keep writing more on this, or are you guys moving on to other stories?
No, so like I was saying about combining universes, unknowingly, they're already sort of set up for that. So in our actual main storyline for the 9, that it takes place after 2044. So now, because of the things I'm writing now, basically there's a descendant of a wizard who tries to pull off a ritual, fucks it up, and basically unleashes hell upon Earth. From there,
Are we talking about an economy collapsing, or what
no,
the hell on Earth?
we're talking about people being turned into
No,
demons and monsters, and basically the Earth being mostly engulfed in like a cloud. It's bad. It's all bad. It's basically an apocalypse.
Yo,
I mean, it is an apocalypse.
What's funny is some of the best animes out right now is all about humans being turned into fucking different creatures. Right? And then they get a second life because their first life is usually so shitty and it's just wasted. And they prefer their second life over their first life. I'm not trying to intrude upon your thing, but I like how you say it's hell, right? And it's mostly, I think, more so because you enjoy your life right now. You've taken opportunities in life now that set it up that this is a good life for you, right? As to where there's a lot of people that hate the life they live right now and would cherish an opportunity to turn into a demon or a monster. Or what would you see as a monster?
This isn't that kind of a transformation. These people are eating each other and like eating their children, and
it's kind of zombie apocalypse, pretty much.
Yeah.
Well, Attack on Titan is
and some people become
it's got a good
other
vibe,
things.
Got a good vibe about eating your family members and shit like that.
Yeah, that's true.
I don't know what that show's turned into, man.
It's all over the place.
I'll be honest, that is fucking so good, and it got so deep out of nowhere. So
yeah.
From the first season, I was bored in the second season, the beginning of it. And then I was like, these motherfuckers got so story driven. What the fuck happened? Like they brought in racism. They brought in fucking everything you could think of. Politics, geopolitics, world culture. How the fuck do you combine this family with this family? A small island that hasn't developed. The Haiti president died and was assassinated because he didn't want to vaccinate anybody. That's just crazy. That's all I'm trying to say is Attack on Titan's a little wild story with Haiti involved.
Hey man, it's crazy. It's nuts.
Yo, question for you guys. Did the African president die that tested the COVID tests on goats, fruit, and the other thing?
I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah,
was that English?
Yes, yo. So in the beginning of COVID, right, when it was starting, there was an African president that he took the test because he thought it was weird, right, that COVID was blowing up the way it was without killing as many people and all the other diseases were dying down. So what he did is he tested a goat, he tested a fruit, and he tested one other thing that was an inanimate object. And they all came back positive, right? And then he was like, yo, this is bullshit. And I believe he died.
Oh, like he sent in tests, but he used...
Yeah, he used a goat, a fruit, and some other shit. And this was the beginning of COVID, and it all got locked underneath, like, the media. You know what I mean? Social media just clouting that shit, shutting it the fuck down.
I mean, I think at the end of the day, it's not like a big secret that it's not a secret anymore that our government sort of has their well, not just our government. Most governments have their own agenda that they don't obviously share with the public, and it's not that part's not a secret anymore, right? So, and the other part that's not a secret is you'll never fucking know. So
yeah, you're never gonna know. Exactly.
They're not gonna tell us.
So, but where I was trying to get to, would the twins and Herc be able to defeat the government conspiracy about COVID or not?
They are the government conspiracy.
Yeah. So, we didn't share that part yet. Yeah, they are.
So by taking a vaccine, you could become one of these characters?
No, okay, absolutely not.
All right. God damn it. Shit, man. Yo, so I was reading your guys' book, and this is one of my favorite stories, right? Is this line right here. No one else for this job. How can you be so sure? There are hundreds of us and hundreds of Grigory. There has to be someone else, implored Aquino. What was that about?
Don't fucking know. What chapter is it in?
Well, it's on page 15 of the book. And this is right after it was a discussion about Nazis.
It's been a minute since I read that one.
Page 15?
Yes.
I haven't read any of this in 1916. Blonsky, Jesus Christ. All right. I'm trying to. All right. No one else for the job. How can you be so sure? Hundreds of us. Okay. So they were. This is basically when Aquino, who's our main. He's one of our main characters in this storyline. In this part.
Can I stop you for a second? Who is the main character?
Aquino. So Aquino is.
So Aquino is the main character. None of your guys' favorite character. I love it.
Right.
He's very important though. Very important. All the way through.
Yeah. How many writers do you think make the main character and they're not even their favorite character?
I don't think for the most part, when you have like a big group of
I think
characters,
a lot of them.
Yeah. Nice.
I don't know. So I think I'm different there, where my favorite character is the main character, right? But it's molded off of like what my weirdest thoughts are.
But okay, but what stories though? Like the one that you're writing?
Yeah.
Okay, but again, does he have a steady team throughout that whole story of multiple characters?
Yeah, so but I like every fucking character involved in his life.
Right.
Right. So every character is I idolize in some way in
Mhm.
different forms and fashions. Right. But I'll be honest, I'm always close to a secondary main character as my favorite character. Right.
Right.
So Vegeta in Dragon Ball Z. I also take My Hero Academia. I kind of like the main character the most. I don't really know. My Hero isn't that fucking great of a story.
Well, it's like
Yo,
action paced. You know, it's
it's
go the whole time.
trash as fuck to me. And I watch every episode as soon as it comes out. So is it really that bad? No. But I just think the storyline or the story writing just isn't that good. Like there's 5 or 6 episodes that have you captivated. And then it's trash for a while. And then again, it goes back to being fucking great stories. And yeah, that's the issue I have with it.
Right. And like I was saying again, like it's not I don't think that story was ever meant to be deep. It might lead into that in the future. But it's action paced, right? So it's just fight scenes, and they make it very clear by giving us 200 fucking superpowered people from the get-go, right? If you introduce that right away, you already know that it's not really going to go deep. Except Naruto gave us everyone was super powered.
And then that's one where I think Naruto is the best character in the fucking show. And I
What?
hated the secondary character, Sasuke.
I love Sasuke.
I thought he was one of the worst characters ever created. No, I get it. But it was his whininess and his unwillingness to fight with the team. And he didn't seem like he sacrificed anything for anyone other than himself. Where Naruto would die for everybody, Sasuke would only die if it benefited him coming closer to his goal.
Right.
They
had to write that contrast.
Yeah, he would sacrifice everyone around him to get to his goal, where Naruto would sacrifice himself just for one person to get one more step further.
Right.
But Gaara, I liked him. Gaara,
he was my favorite character.
Yeah,
my favorite, hands down, my favorite character.
He developed from like the most evil motherfucker to like, yo, I fucked up. Let me change. And he changed. He was great development on him.
Yeah. And what's funny is his character had absolutely every right to not become the person that he became. He had every right to stay the way he was, and he didn't. Which that's good writing.
But when you're fucking like and they explained his backstory, and you're like, it's so easy to become who the fuck he was. Like, oh yeah, he didn't have any friends his whole fucking life, right? His whole family was trying to kill him. His own father tried to kill. Like, what the fuck do you do at that point, man?
Exactly.
Shit, Joe, are you still there, man?
He's like running away or something.
Oh shit, yo, he's getting tacos. Joe's going to his jet right now. Yeah. Oh, yo, I was talking about secondary characters, right? So we move on. I think Trigun is one of my favorite animes.
Mm-hmm.
I like the priest so much in that anime. But the main character was so good in that too. Where like I could switch. It depends on my mood, right? Who my favorite character is.
Right.
Cryed, like I like the secondary character, but I think I like the main character the most in that. Right, we do. And then what other stories are out there where secondary characters are just as good as the main character?
Well, I mean, you have look at everything Marvel. I mean, even with like the teams, right? So you have like the X-Men. How often do you meet someone who their favorite character is Cyclops, even though he's the leader, right?
Wolverine, right?
Right.
Is everybody's
Wolverine,
favorite.
Colossus,
But what was
Nightcrawler,
weird
Gambit.
is Wolverine was kind of the de facto leader. Like if he put his foot down and said, "Nah, nigga, that shit ain't happening," Cyclops be like, "All right, Wolf. All right, let's do it, Logan."
Yeah, exactly.
Whatever you say, bro.
But I think it's more of a respect thing, right? Because everyone it's just like Captain America, right? He's not the strongest fucking person. A lot of people can kill him. The thing is, like, it's the respect thing, right? And that's sort of it's sort of the opposite with Logan, where he's not the leader, but people have so much respect for him that if he is suggesting something, that they listen. And the same thing with Captain America, right? He can get killed by almost every other Avenger. They can kill him, but they respect him so much as a leader that when he does say something, even the villains, right? If you go back to Secret Wars, which is what this whole phase is leading up to, right? So Secret Wars, or uh, there was basically they had all the villains and the heroes together, and Doom was basically going off saying like we need to do this and we need to do that. And Doom's one of those other characters that when he speaks, people listen because of his intelligence, right? And that they respect him. They know how smart he is and how capable he is. However, Captain America came in and was like, no, we're doing this. And even Doom like stopped and was like, okay. Everyone was like, okay. So it comes down to just that even though they're not the most powerful, it's the level of respects that the characters have for each other.
Well, as you were saying, Marvel specifically, I thought of DC, and I thought DC does it so different.
Well, look at Batman. Batman has no power, but when he says something, people listen.
No, but they never use him as a secondary character, right? DC does the main character is your favorite character every fucking time, right? The only thing that I was close to being like, Batman isn't my favorite character is when Damian Wayne came out, but he's the son of fucking Batman. Right? Like exactly. It's like fuck, dude.
It was just a pass of the torch.
But like Spawn, you're not in there reading it for the secondary character.
Oh no, I am now.
You know what I'm saying?
But they're not secondary characters anymore.
Yeah. But if they're a main character, it's fine. But Spawn is the fucking King Dingling, right?
Yeah, he's literally called King Spawn now.
Yeah, and I'm reading DC. There's no secondary characters in a Justice League. That's about a team. So that's not a secondary character, right? Usually each hero has their own episode. And they do such a good job writing those episodes. The main character is usually your favorite. Like, okay, the reason they won this battle is because Green Lantern this episode. Or even Hawk Girl. Like, oh, Hawk Girl was having some drama issues. She was fucking two dudes at the same time. The drama's real. But Hawk Girl tightened it up in the end, and they got the win because of her. All right, good job, Hawk Girl.
Right, and I think that's something that we did with our story without actually knowing is we made a cast of a shitload of main characters. We could literally like Constantine. We could do a whole entire series of just Constantine.
And, I thought you were going to say that was going to be your favorite character. To be honest, I thought you were going to go with Constantine.
So originally Constantine was my favorite character because he's like a smartass like me, and like he talks shit, but he's capable, right? Like he talks shit because he knows. But
the secondary in that would be the Demon Lord, right? And that was my question, Joe, is that who's a secondary character that you find more favorable? Finish up with that, but I was just trying to throw that in. It would be the Demon Lord, right? That would be the secondary character in Constantine.
And in our story?
No, just in Constantine in general. Or Constantine is a character in your story.
Yeah, he is. He's one of the
what
characters.
The fuck? Is he like Constantine from DC?
But he's a Nephilim.
But he's a Nephilim, right?
Yeah.
So he's a god or an angel.
Yeah, he doesn't do like magic. It's not like. Yeah, it's not. He's like an alcoholic. Alchemist.
Okay.
No, he's not.
Right. No.
That is one of my favorite things about Constantine.
He's like our detective. He's like our Batman, so to speak.
Okay.
All right. Did you ever watch Bleach or read the manga or anything like that?
Only like 562 episodes of Bleach.
Oh, okay. That's not too bad.
Okay.
So for whatever reason, Constantine to me, I get a vibe of
guy. Yo, I'm sorry, dude. I got hype, man.
Yeah. Hey, those Bankais were something serious, though, bro.
Yo,
hey,
that first season.
When Ichigo first went Bankai, come on, dude.
Oh man,
that's one of the greatest moments in anime history.
My favorite moment in the entire series is Ichigo versus the fucking black guy with bells on his hair. It's before he learns Bankai.
Yeah, no, you're talking about when he fought Kenpachi.
Kenpachi, oh motherfucker, bro. These dudes beat the fucking living hell out of each other. And Kenpachi, he had another switch, but he's just all about like, who's got a bigger dick? Like it's not even dick size, but he's like, oh, you want to cut me once? I'll cut you once. Let's see who can get the most lashes. And you're like, fuck me, bro. What a bad. He's one of my favorite characters in anime, period. And I always like the dark skinned brothers, right? because every character in anime is usually white as fuck, and I like them. But when there's a brother that's doing some work, I'm like, let's
Hey,
go.
when
like
there's
the
a black
Raze
dude, he comes.
Kage, right?
Like the Raikage, like
Right,
Man, he's
Kage was a
dope.
cold ass nigga with a half a hand,
Yeah,
He don't
beating
give
the
a
fuck
fuck.
out of niggas.
yeah. A
Uh,
didn't play.
Afro
But when there's a
Samurai
black
came
dude,
out.
Afro Samurai, bro. Oh my god.
Yo, old boy brought that up the other day, man. It's one of
Yeah,
his favorite animes.
one of my favorite animes, hands down. Soundtrack, animation, storyline, everything.
Yeah. But you know what? There was so much money dumped into
Thrown
Afro
into
Samurai.
yeah.
I mean,
It's well worth
and you
it.
know what? It is well worth it. But you know, that's what pisses me off about some of these. All right, I love the Naruto franchise and all that, but what they've done with Boruto is, I feel like they should have just gone the My Hero Academia route, where they just do seasons and that's it, man. You're able to get better quality anime. You know, you get better writing out of it. You know, you don't.
So I was just shitting on My Hero, right? I think My Hero is fucking terrible. I'll get 4 or 5. Yo, this nigga turned it off. He loves My Hero that much.
He's like, I'm done. I'm done here.
Yo, I didn't mean to talk about your yeah. I didn't mean to talk about the greatest hero of all time. Oh,
He left again.
god damn, dude. He said, fuck, I'm not talking about one hero unless it's good. My Hero Academia is the best.
I think he's at Taco Bell now.
Ordering, getting that Baja Blast.
Yeah. Oh, so speaking of Constantine, just to get you hyped, you have a copy of the book, so you'll be able to read it. But one of the scenes towards the end, there's a part where he's fighting the main OP villain of this timeline, and basically his arm's broken and shit, and he's like being held up by his broken arm. He has this shit kicked out of him, and he starts laughing, and the bad guy, yeah, I mean, he's like on the verge of dying. Like, that's how fucked up he is, because he basically went one-on-one with this guy so people could get away. And he starts laughing as he's being held up by his mangled arm, and the guy's like, you know, the classic villain thing, like, what's so funny? And he's like, you know, look, basically. And that's when transformed Hercules basically is showing up. But that's one of my favorite scenes in that novel that you have, that short novel.
That shit is pretty kick-ass. Yeah, fuck, dude. And you ever thought about just getting the first book you guys did animated and seeing what it looks like? Like,
Dude,
just
that would be
save.
dope.
That's the plan. That's always the plan, right?
Save money up, hit Netflix up, just start fucking spamming their shit. Get it animated, right? Yo, give it away for free.
It needs a rewrite. Well, that's what I'm doing with Wands Are for Pussies, right? So Wands,
which
I'm
is
going
great,
to have
a great sell at a sex shop. Like, I'm there all the time.
exactly.
They only cost $85 for starters.
They literally are, exactly.
Yeah, and then you go to $165 to $203.99. And like, sometimes you only last 2 minutes in the bedroom, right? Doesn't matter when you have a wand for a pussy.
No, you just step up to home plate, right, and go at it.
That's what I'm saying. Call me
Onishi.
Onishi. Yo, that was cold. Oh shit. Yo, this nigga's bringing out the comedy today, bro. I shouldn't say nigga for a Spanish American. What are you guys called?
There's a lot of African blood in there, bro. Mali, Nigeria,
Latinx. Should I call you?
Latinx.
Yo, you have to make me a character in Genetico now as called Latinx.
No, I will.
Oh, hey.
And he's gonna be a fucking transvestite.
Oh my.
No.
And what happens is the pussy envelopes, like the pussy flaps open like fucking sponge man, right? And then it just suffocates motherfuckers. Like, he'll be like, "Hey, look at my dick," and he just swings it back and forth and hypnotizes somebody. And then, like, he lifts his dick up and a pussy flaps out, closes around him, and suffocates him like a fucking
like the
cocoon.
Predator. It's like,
yeah. But like, they always look And it's he always fucking gets drunk people at a bar. Like that's his move. He goes to a bar and he's like, "Hey, come outside. I want to show you something." And he wears like a trench coat. I already made this character.
This sounds like a Spanish guy at a bar.
Yeah.
I think I know this guy.
And he's got a trench coat on. The color is like a pewter color. You know what I'm saying? He's outside. He's like, "Hey, come here. I got something. I got money." He's flashing like a couple $100 in fucking whatever the currency is. And then they come outside and he opens his jacket and he starts swinging his dick back and forth. He's like, "Look at that. Click, clack, click, clack." And the dude runs up to punch him. He lifts his dick up and a pussy comes out and chokes him to death.
I don't know why, but that just made me think of Joe. I don't know if you remember the day that we were at work and the cameraman / one of the owners of Bang Bros came with his two sisters, and the other manager at the time decided, because they wanted me to stay with them, they had that like basketball player or football player that had the broken leg with them, and I had to I had to stay with them the whole time as I was being harassed.
Wait, was I off that day?
I'm not sure. I don't
explain
know
harass, bro, for people that don't understand what that
if
is.
I don't know you, I don't care who you are. I don't like you touching me.
Yeah. Like even Bang Bro's sister.
Yeah, I mean, like they were attractive. It was his two sisters.
Okay.
But it was like,
where was the weird part? Like, just explain the weird part for me.
Because I don't know them, so I was uncomfortable.
Was your wiener tingly?
No, I was annoyed, and then
that's why
they were
your
laughing.
wiener whacks back and forth and collapses them with a pussy. All right, but so let's move on to like more serious topics. So what we came here to talk about is the 9 serious character development, right? You've talked about your 2 favorite characters. Give me your 2 least favorite characters. So it's 1 per person. I say 2 because there's 2 of you. I hope you say the same person. I hope you say the main character.
No, he's not my least favorite.
Okay.
I don't know who I have to
No,
think.
yeah. That's tough. That's a tough one.
And ego could be involved too, right? Because if you create it all, you like what the fuck you're putting into it. I get that. Right. But when you look back at it and you be objective about it, there's got to be something weak about some of these characters that you made. Like, oh, he's underdeveloped. He could be good, but he needs work. You know what I'm saying?
Well, then maybe I can't even say Aquino's bad because he's not.
Yeah,
man.
So yeah, what you guys are trying to say is you wrote the best story of all time. There's no imperfections, and everybody just needs to fucking buy a copy and read it.
When it's done, for sure, yeah.
So the problem is that we haven't finished. So I think later on there's going to be a chance for us to say, you know what, kind of don't like that character as much, maybe, or maybe that it's just someone we just slept on and didn't really go hard on him, and that's why that's the least favorable one. I don't know.
Yeah, I got a question. Would you guys say that there should be some forgiveness for people that forget parts in their story, right? That fuck up their story a little bit.
Absolutely.
Right. Yeah, so some of it is Dragon Ball Z, right? Forgetting about Super Saiyan transformations.
No.
Right?
He's like that's different. That is like a one-off.
I don't think it is different at all.
Bro.
I think the amount of content that you are constantly doing, writing it on your own, even with a team, sometimes it's hard to remember everything. Like fans are so much more into some things than sometimes even the writers are.
How do you forget a whole entire transformation that your characters have?
How many transformations are in Dragon Ball Z? Think about it.
He completely forgot about Super Saiyan 2. He's admitted that he just forgot. It was just.
But so what the fuck? I read a line in your story you forgot, right? If I could probably find a character in your story that you forgot about.
No, a character.
Yeah,
no.
but that's different because our story is not visual. We don't see. It's not every day on TV. You know what I mean? Like there's so many fucking reminders that Akira Toriyama has. There's so many reminders, and the problem is that he has other people starting to write for him. So now that's where he's not paying attention so much. That's the problem. So, but But still,
It's
at the end of the
such
day,
a great story.
it is. It's a great
Mm.
fucking story. But the thing is why there's not as much slack that you can give something like Dragon Ball is because it's fucking everywhere. You should be able to, there's no way you can forget something.
And it's
Same thing
very
happened with-
linear. It's very
But
linear,
you
right? You
guys-
have you have everything happens in order, right?
Mm.
And then everything sort of stays in that order, just repeating. I don't,
I get what you're saying.
and it's not like a new character is introduced like every other episode. You know what I mean? Like they introduce a couple new characters, and you stick with those characters for a long time.
Right.
But every episode there is a fucking random side character enter. There is a police officer will show up.
But that's any story, right? You're gonna have
Poison serpent will show up. Like, so where I stand is that I think it's acceptable as a writer to forget about some transformations, some characters. Like, I don't care how big you get. Sometimes you just want a story to go a certain way, and you can forget about some of the lapses in your storytelling, right? That's part of why Berserk is one of my favorite. I don't think there's a fucking single detail that motherfucker left out with character development. But the issue is, it took this dude, for the manga that he wrote, it took him like fucking 30 fucking years, right, to only do a year and a half's worth of Naruto. Do you get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like
yeah.
the amount that he wrote, because he was such a perfectionist, such a thing, is it pales in comparison. But like, I'm seeing Berserk just blow the fuck up all over the place now, and I'm gonna buy a couple hard copy versions of him just because of that. But like, there should be some forgiveness for the dudes that are pushing out the content, getting it the fuck out there, and like letting the fans fix it.
At the end of the day, especially as a writer, once you write something and you put it out there, you are sort of socially, I mean, you should be obligated by yourself, but you are sort of socially obligated to finish that story, right? You have to, once it's out there, you it's not mandatory, but it's there, right? It's like an unspoken rule. You're obligated to finish that story, and you're obligated to at least try to make it not as shitty as when you first started.
Right. Absolutely. I mean, there's no excuses. I don't know. Maybe
Like, I'm not saying like I clearly understand how hard it is to sit down and write and to finish things, but that obligation is still there. It's not something that disappears. The obligation for it to make sense and to be finished is still there.
I'm trying to stop you guys from being hypocrites early on, because that shit's gonna happen, right? There's gonna be something you forget about. If you get a large enough fan base at some point, sometimes fans are just better at regurgitating your information than you are.
Oh, right. Like the Easter eggs, like Marvel Easter eggs and stuff like that. Yeah, of course. You're always going to have people who are diving in way deeper than like even you are going. But at the same time, they're able to do that because they're not writing the story, right? Yet they're on the outside. So you can critique things and look deeper into them when you're not having to sit there and actually write the story.
What is your guys' favorite part about writing your book and getting it published?
It was finishing it. Finishing the first short story was crazy.
Yeah. Finishing it was a sense of accomplishment that, it's hard to describe.
99% of people will never have that.
Yeah.
Ever. Even the people who love writing, they'll never have that. Like 90% of them, they just won't finish and actually do that. Right?
Nigga, did you get Taco Bell?
Yeah.
Oh, I thought we were
Fucking
joking.
coldest nigga of all time.
I definitely did.
Holy shit. Yo, on Dave Chappelle, what was that dude called? Notre Damus? I swear that nigga's gonna get a taco.
Come on, tacos are life, bro.
Yeah, no, they're pretty fire, especially if you're in California.
I hope it's the naked chalupa.
Yeah. And Florida. Yeah, the best thing, my favorite thing at there is getting the I like the breakfast burritos.
Yeah, they are good.
And the nacho fucking big ass boxes with everything on it.
Yeah, those are good too. Those naked chalupas are fire.
Yeah,
Those naked chalupas are stupid.
So you
they're
guys
dangerous.
didn't no least favorite character. When can we expect something new from you guys?
I'm ready to go.
Yeah, me too.
Um,
Especially now, like after talking about it the way that we have for the last
there's so much
2 hours.
to fix and go back and to expand upon, and just the way that they connect to the other stories that we have now, like even Genetico, like involving that world into my worlds. There's so much more to do now, but that's exciting. It's not like,
Yeah.
oh my god, I like there's so much. It's I want to do it.
So if we just did like a short story, like what are we going to start with? What are we going to finish with, and when? Let's set some things up right now, right? Let's set a goal right now, and then let's fucking make that shit happen.
Well, I need to start working on the episodes for wands, because that, like I said, time's gonna be kind of fucked up with our stories because there is no.
Yeah,
It's
who gives a
it's
fuck about that?
Yeah,
Who
it's
gives a
alternate
fuck about the
dimensions,
times.
So
Everything's in a different thing. Wands are for pussies. You're excited as fuck about this. Short story, how are you doing it? What's the format? When can we expect something from it?
So wands is going to be free for everyone. It's going to be a BBC style radio drama on
Big
YouTube.
Black Cock Radio Comment.
Yeah. And that's going to be on my YouTube. So I'm going to be releasing episodes of that where it's voiced over and you're listening to it. And I need to start doing that. Basically get that going.
Here, give me an angry voice real quick.
What do you mean?
Give me an angry voice. An angry guy that just lost his brother. Go.
What? You're like, listen, have you been on Fiverr lately? Is that why? Are you like,
yo, the voice acting thing is huge. All right. Oh, notice me, senpai. I was gonna lick my microphone for that ASMR.
Well, I need to actually write these characters out, right? So the characters don't even really have personalities yet, right? I'm still not completely flushing out the world, but because for the most part, it's pretty much the same as ours. There's going to be some tweaks and shit, obviously, because it's in Wands, the whole world is under one rule. They still have different countries, but essentially everyone answers to one person. So, I have to flesh out the personalities for those characters, especially for my main character Rex, because he becomes the main. The main character goes through a lot of changes. So I need to flesh out that personality first.
Joe, talk to me, man. What are we doing? When are we making it happen? I want that twins fucking. I want the twins to come out soon.
Yeah, that I would shoot. I'll start working on that right away.
We're talking 7-9 today. Tell me when we'd have a short comic book type thing.
On the what now?
Well, that's the thing, is if you're writing a script, it's going to be completely different, right? So if you're doing like a comic book script, your normal comic book is 24 pages. So that should only take you like a week to write, right? So when I did like for Blackleaf, when I did 50, would that take me like a little over a month? So, but again,
so let's do
it's
this.
different. You're getting
let's do by
details.
July 31st. Joe, we need something from you. Yo, do you agree?
Okay, yeah.
Yo,
yeah.
July 31st,
that's
we're gonna have
reasonable.
something about the twins.
I think.
Yo, you've been motivating all of us, right? I expect nothing from you except just keep pushing out your content, bro. Fucking, I think you just setting a tone, setting the platform, starting to combine all these different people together. You got musicians, you got writers, you got comic book people, you got everybody fucking motivated. If you do nothing else other than that, I think that's the biggest contribution you've made so far, outside of doing your own things, right? You already have something published.
Mm-hmm.
Do you need to do anything else? No, but you should. Right. So set a goal for yourself right now. What's a goal you'd be happy with doing? It doesn't have to be the 31st. What's a goal that you want to set for yourself that you know you can make and it would be good? He's writing a story about twins. The shit already wrote itself. I wrote the story in my fucking head already. These motherfuckers are bashing the fuck out of each other. It's their fucking as toddlers. And their dad is strong as fuck, beating the fuck out of both the twins.
I think I can have 3 episodes done by the 31st. Written, at least.
So let's do one recorded episode.
That's what I can do that.
One recorded episode by the 31st, and we'll do a review on was the 31st is on a Saturday, right? And then we can do a review Sunday. I'll listen to it as soon as you put that shit out.
Mm-hmm.
So 31st recorded, posted on the internet. The first, we'll all get together and do a review on it.
Yeah, I can do that.
Sounds fun.
All right. And then my goals for the next time is, I'm going to try and jerk off.
You need to log into OneNote at least.
13, 14,
Jesus.
16, 17, 18, 19, 20. I'm going to jerk off 22 times by the 31st. I'll see if I can do it. I may be able to. I'm not 100% confident, but we'll see what happens.
I think you got this.
All
You'll
right.
probably be done tomorrow.
If it happens, I'm not going to brag about it on the internet until the next time we have our conversation. 22 times.
So how
Done.
about you have your timeline finished in OneNote for Genetico and have some of those fucking characters filled out?
Oh, yeah.
'Cause-
Well, there is no timeline when you can space travel in time.
For your story.
Oh, it's already done. It's already written in my head. I just have to put it on paper.
There you go. Let's do that.
All right. You're being a little ridiculous and too productive for me. Give me a taco, Joe. Give me a fucking taco.
I don't think he's listening to you.
Oh, he is.
I'm listening.
Yeah. Yo, what's funny is it's 10 o'clock and you boys, you could tell it's past your bedtime.
Oh, for sure, bro. I have like 20 kids.
That's the truth.
Bro, Joe, how do I
Yeah.
have more kids than you?
I don't know how that happened, but it
How'd
happened.
that happen?
Yo, he went to Taco Bell and is drinking that Mountain Dew. You know what happens. That's that secret sauce, baby. No condoms, drink Mountain Dew.
All right,
Whoa,
so
whoa, whoa.
let's try to meet again next Friday, and let's have something to share and show each other, at least by then.
Okay.
Oh, easy money. Easy money.
All right, sounds good.
I'm
think
gonna
that's
have a
reasonable.
photo, right, for my icon. I'll have 2 episodes up for my One Suit Senpai channel, and I'll have an initial sketch for my main character.
Okay.
All right. That's it.
Let's do it.
All right, I should write that down somewhere because I had a nice slushie for dinner.
All right, fellas. Thanks for your time.
Yes, that was great.
This is definitely motivating for sure. I
Yeah,
definitely
absolutely.
am ready to go.
Absolutely.
Peace.
Peace.